Hello everyone, I'm Sankar. And before starting the video, please subscribe the channel if you have not yet done. And this video is about discussing the entire process about Intuit company. And today we have Bhavna with us. She has grabbed a PPO offer from Intuit after doing her summer internship at this company. So we'll get some insights about this company and how the entire process was. So we'll start the video with a brief introduction. So Bhavna, can you introduce yourself?
So first of all, thank you, Sankalp, for having me over to share my interview experience. Hello guys, myself Bhavna Machi. I am currently pursuing BTech in Computer Science from Cummins College of Engineering for Women Pune. And with context of the video, I currently completed my internship at Intuit and received a PPO offer as well. So that's pretty much about me.
Okay. So if we talk about the college life, like from first year to current year, so what all things like you done or what all things you should have done, which you can suggest the juniors also. So in this, what we can share.
So talking about my college life, so it was pretty much as everyone else has, like we are not aware of what we want to do, right, in the first year. So I made sure like I get into touch with some of my seniors and, understand some of the technologies that they are working on or understand like whatever was going on into our college. So I made sure I was a part of some of the clubs and I interacted a lot with my seniors and so what part I regret about my college, like initial years of college, is like I would have, communicated well with all my seniors as like I did, but much more scope was there for me to interact with a lot of seniors, so that I could have got a lot more opportunities to explore as well. So that is pretty much in the second year. It was pretty much about like coursework and doing courses, doing a lot of projects. And after second year we were mostly around like preparing for the interviews and for the internships, because during the fifth semester we have companies coming in our college. So at second year ka summer break was pretty much about preparation, and fifth semester was about internships and all those things. And after getting internships, it was like pretty much chill. And as of now, like this is the seventh semester going on, so it's about final year project and maybe hopefully next semester also.
Okay. So that was about the college life. Now, if we talk about the previous work experiences or internships, so like recently you have done at Intuit. So like previous to that, like how many internships or what all internships you have completed?
Talking about my previous work, so after my first year, I didn't do any of the internships, and I regret for that. Even after my second year, I was pretty much into preparations for the internships. I approached certain startups, but I didn't receive any offer as such for internships maybe. But I would strongly recommend the freshers out there to contact the seniors and maybe look for opportunities wherein you can do contributions in startups, maybe because this pretty much helps you when you sit for internships. Your previous work helps you. As I knew I had no internships done before, I wanted to rely more on my project work. So I made sure my projects are strong enough to show my skill set whatever I had. So I focused more on my project areas and make sure that I have strong projects on my resume, which could reflect my skill set, whichever I wanted, whichever I worked upon. And yeah, pretty much. And the internship which I did was the first industrial internship I did with Intuit. So that was the only internship experience I had, and the
Okay.
project work, of course. Yes.
Okay. So like if we talk about projects, so like what are projects you have done previously, or what are some of the projects that you want to share?
I wanted to say that I have explored all the fields of development. I started with web dev. I completed certain projects in that. Then, as a part of coursework, also we had Android programming. So pretty much, I also did well in that part. Explored all other parts of and made a good app as well. And after that, also I before internship also I was into machine learning a bit. I was just a beginner, but I made sure I didn't do a lot of high level projects in that, only some basic stuff for me to understand the concepts and all. So I made sure I did not put that on resume because it was just a basic level. So that projects. And also I dwell into some part of IoT as well. I did something, some experimentations with IoT, because that wasn't as a subject, but I wanted to participate in some of the contests. So I tried IoT as well. And also I tried full stack development. So made sure whenever you try to explore different domains, you have certain depth and knowledge about it, and then go ahead with different domains. It's not like you have to stick to one. If you're not interested, or you find like it's not your cup of tea, make sure you explore other domains as well. This is what I did, and pretty much as of now I am working into this machine learning. Talking about full stack development, make sure you concentrate on it as well, because what it reflects is, if you're a full stack developer, it reflects that you can program a server well, a browser well, and also a database, right? So it gives an overall development, you have a overall development profile in that respect as well. So make sure you explore all parts and then find your own interest, and then go ahead with developing projects in that whichever domain you're interested into.
Okay. So like that is great, because if we are doing any project, it is important that we also explore most of the domains that we can, because that gives us an insight like which domain we should be focusing on. Now that was all regarding the brief introduction about her. If we move ahead with the interview process, so if we talk about the process for internship, so like how many students had applied for this and how many were selected for this?
Yeah, so Intuit came around in August, and only comp and IT students were allowed. So our rough estimate is around 200 to 220 students must have applied. And a total of 10 students were shortlisted for the interview process. And finally, 2 were received the internship offer.
Okay. And if we talk about the coding round for this, so like how was the coding round, the questions, topics, or the difficulty level for the questions?
Yeah, so the coding round was a 90 minutes test. It was on the HackerRank or Hacker Earth platform. I don't remember. And there were 3 coding questions of medium to difficulty level, according to me, because it's relative. If I don't know what dynamic, how, like, I've not practiced much of dynamic programming, that will definitely be a hard problem for me. So that was the part. We had one dynamic programming question. So out of 3 I could solve 2, and the third one I could cover some of the edge cases, and it was pretty much the same for all the other students who qualified, or like they could solve 2 and half question maybe. Yeah.
Okay. So like that was regarding the coding round. Now if we move ahead with the interviews, so like how many interview rounds you had and what all topics were focused in these rounds?
Yeah. I had 2 technical rounds, no HR round. And so talking about my technical rounds, the first technical round started with my brief introduction. And then the interviewer asked me about one of the projects which I did, and we had a thorough discussion, like what challenges, how did I like overcome those challenges, and why this tech stack, why not other tech stack, and all those brief discussion we had. Later on, we had a code pair round. So I was asked a problem statement. I don't remember the statement, but I solved it using circular queue, and it was pretty much, the interviewer was pretty much satisfied with the solution. And later on, they gave me certain constraints, and I had to modify the code. So after that, I modified, and yeah, so that time also, they were looking for my approach, way of thinking, and how I could optimize the code. Like they were looking for a pretty much good optimized code, and you know. My thinking process as well, like how do I approach a specific problem statement. So that is what they look for into a candidate, the thought process. And after the code pair round, I was asked a puzzle. So yeah, here's the trick. Like when I was asked the puzzle in the first attempt, I interpreted in a different way. The interviewer asked a different part, and I took it in a complete different way. And so I answered the question, and so the interviewer knew that I was a bit off track, and but I was like around the answer. So he, he repeated the question again and made sure I completely understand it. And then later I came up with a solution, and he was pretty much impressed because I came up with the optimized part for the specific question he asked. So here's a tip for the freshers, like who are up sitting for interviews. If you are asked a question and if you don't completely understand it, make sure you ask the interviewer, because not all will repeat the question. So make sure you discuss it properly with the interviewers. Instead of giving the wrong answer, it is always preferable if you discuss it with and understand the question completely, and then go ahead with answering those questions. So that I would suggest all the students.
Okay. Okay. So this was regarding the interviews. And if we talk about the role of CGPA in this process, so like how important was CGPA in the entire recruitment process?
So mine is a decent CGPA. So my average is 8.7. But I recommend everyone to have a pretty much decent CGPA around like 8.5 to 9.5. 8.5 to 9 pretty much works well. Uh, it is very much important to have a good CGPA, because in the internal shortlisting, this CGPA is one of the metrics which is considered when you have two candidates of the same skill set. So what they look up for is only your CGPA maybe. So have a pretty much good decent CGPA. Freshers can target for a good CGPA right in the first year, because my first year CGPA is like keeping my average pretty much good as of now. So try to have a, if CGPA is in your hand, make sure you keep it high.
Okay. And like in some companies and some colleges, CGPA also differs from college to college. So you should take care of your college. And sometimes some colleges also allow salary like 7.6 or 7.8, but in some colleges, even 8.3 or 8.6 is not that much efficient or not that much useful. So you should
Yeah,
take care for
exactly.
that also. Now, if we talk about the interview process, so like it was like was it virtual or can you share something about this, like pros and cons for this?
When it came for internship during last year, I had we had in the virtual internships only at that time also. I had given interviews in person and virtual as well. So for me, I guess both are there is not much difference between both the types of interviews. But the only difference is when it comes to interviews in person, you can express it well, because and you can put forth your thoughts in a better way, because in virtual internships you need to be good in your communication skills well, so that you can express your thoughts or whatever thought process you have in a very effective way, because you might not know that the interviewer has got you interpreted you in a wrong way. So a very good communication skill is a must when you have virtual internships. But it is a pro for me, because you know uh, I am an introvert. For me, it helped me a lot. And also, plus point is like you sit it and you are at your own place, and you're comfortable sitting in your own place and giving interviews. So that helps. But for some people, it depends individual to individual. Some like the atmosphere that is created into the in-person meeting room. So it depends. For me, I guess both are equal.
Okay. And this interview was done last year, that is in 2019, and that time like Corona was not there. So it is company specific that they opted for virtual
Yeah.
interviews. Okay.
Yes.
And now, like this is all about the interview process. Now we talk about the strategies and preparation tips. So, like what all, like what was your preparation methodology for preparing for these companies?
So as I said, during my first year, I started pretty much late. Like in my second semester, I started coding, and after my first year in my summer breaks, I did some part of it, but not much. And when I came back in second year, I saw a lot of my peers who were good at competitive programming or maybe other data structures concepts as well. So I knew I was lagging a bit. So it was up to me to work hard and enroll into certain courses or. So what I followed is I first of all referred to GFG. Make sure you do the follow most of the things which are given in GFG, because it is a very good platform. I did certain coding practice on HackerRank, HackerEarth as well, and interview bit is very much useful. Go for it. And also do attempt some of the contests which are on code forces. That helps you a lot. So I used to solve company-wise questions as well, and also data structure-wise questions. And also I used to solve it according to the difficulty level. Like I didn't directly jump onto the highest difficulty level question because it demotivates you. So I went off by like solving easy to medium and then going on for the difficult level questions. So make sure you solve company-wise questions if you want to target a specific company. Look for their interview experiences, which is given on GFG. That helps you a lot when you prepare for a specific company. And yeah, this is the strategy I followed. And also, practice is the key. Make sure you practice more of questions, and yeah, that will help you a lot.
Okay. And one thing that she has mentioned is like directly we should not jump to the hardest questions, because we should first try to get some easy and medium questions. And if we talk about the placement process, so many times we have rejected by many companies. So how to deal with the motivation, like self motivation, and how you did it for you during your like this process.
Yeah, so it is not that you get successful at your first attempt. You have to face many rejections before that. Same is the case with me as well. So it is easier said than done that you need to be motivated. It is a natural tendency that you get demotivated when you see a lot of your peers, getting selected and all those stuff. So make sure you believe in yourself. You have your friends around who might get placed, yeah, or they might have received internship offers. So make sure you learn from their mistakes as well. Understand what process they went through, what strategies they followed. So instead of taking it in a negative way, take it in a positive way. Approach the students those who have got placed or received internship offers. Learn from whatever practices they might have followed, and make it a collaborative, like peer coding, as you said. Like do a lot of it. So that helps. Instead of looking into the negative part of it, like why am I not getting selected? Just think that it will, like, you will also get selected, and you have to do your best. Hard work is the key. So believe in yourself, and yeah, that is what I would suggest. That is what I did.
Okay. So now we talk about the coding language. So like we have many languages. So which language you chose and how much important any language selection, like how much important this plays a role?
Yeah, so according to me, like programming is a tool, right? So you can learn any programming language at any stage. But you should be clear with your basic concepts, and you should have a good program, like problem solving skills as well. So if you're good at that, you're good to go with any languages. So for me, I at that moment of time I was pretty much into Java, and I was a beginner into Python. So I made sure I go with the language which I'm more comfortable into. So I on my resume also I had Java based projects, and so I made sure I put forth only those parts which I'm more confident about. So Java was my go to language at that time. So yeah, Java was and it is not like that if you know Java and Python nahi aata hai, to aisa nahi hai. Though any language works, you need to be thorough with whatever you are putting on a resume, and whatever language you say you are good at it. So be thorough with whatever you are doing. C++, Java, Python, nothing matters.
Okay. So like if some juniors have this doubt, like which language should I choose? So you are free to choose any language, because language doesn't play that much important role as the problem solving skills. Now, if we talk about peer coding or group studies, so like how you use this and how important it is for any candidate.
Yeah, peer coding, as I said, I was not like, you can say I didn't do like the exact peer coding as it how it is done, but I had this one friend wherein at the end of the day we used to solve these problems statements which we like we couldn't get solutions for it. So we had a discussion on it, and we came up with different approaches. And the main use of peer coding is that you get to know different approaches for the problem statement. So if you want to get different ways of implementing it, go for peer coding. Also, when it comes to peer coding, make sure you first put in your efforts of thinking and put your point or your way of implementation, and then go ahead for discussing the same part. So what happens is then you have your own solution as well, and plus you have two other solutions which might be of your friends and all those things. So, and also it keeps you motivated. This is what I believe. Like for me, peer coding helped me to stay motivated, because what happens is at some moment of time you feel like, okay, I don't want to do it more. So, but your friends around, or you see a lot of friends doing it, so you get motivated if you do peer coding and all that stuff. So go ahead with it, and definitely you must try it.
Okay. And if we talk about clubs and chapters, like most of the colleges have, so like should we join it, or what are some of the pros and cons for joining any club or chapter?
Yeah, so talking about the clubs, I was a bit like, this is according to me. So I was a bit not good into communication skills. So I made sure I get into a club wherein I could develop that skill set of mine. So in the first year, I was a part of the developer student club, and and if, like, for the freshers also, if you want to get the details of the domain you want to, like, you're more interested into, so you can start up with a club, because there you have like-minded people who are working, or maybe seniors who would be working on that field, and then you can get easy access to, like, different resources maybe, or get access to different opportunities that seniors might have gone through. So you get an advantage of that, but it depends college to college and individual to individual, as well as the club, because a club need to be an active club, right? If it is not, it's not useful. So make sure you take the right decision of going into a club which is of your interest, and you need to make sure that you have your personal development in that as well. So in the SC club, I made sure I interacted a lot, and in the second year I was a part of this AICVS club we have in our college. So it was a pretty much active club, wherein we had it was machine learning, sort of. So all my basics I got to know from my seniors and all those. So we had contests and pretty much a resource sharing every time. So be a part of active clubs. Yeah, pretty much that only.
Okay, so that was regarding clubs and chapters. Now, if we talk about the colleges, like college life, so what all things we can do in the college so that we can be more productive, and it can also help us during this company's placements and internship.
Yeah, so talking about the productivity, you have this coursework and data structures. So that is not like high level, which is taught. The basic stuffs are taught in our college. So make sure you go up to your high level of the data structures, which is taught, by doing some projects maybe, because that will help you in your interviews. Also start working on the, like, competitive coding part. Start early with your competitive coding, because that mistake I have done. I started pretty much late. So make sure you start early, because you have an edge over others if you start early. And also do good amount of quality projects. It's not that you do a group project and your contribution is not significant. Make sure you do a significant contribution in any group project you do, and also have some of the individual projects at your end also. So do projects at your end, and make sure those are quality projects as well, so that you can put those on your resumes as well, and you need to be thorough at it. So being productive is like, do projects, and also enjoy your college life. Yeah.
Okay. Now, if we talk about resume, so like we have projects and work experiences in that. So how we can improve this and how important role it plays in this selection process.
Yeah, so talking about the resume, I don't think so. It pretty much has more, it provides more weightage. But yeah, so you should have strong projects on your resume, because I had no interview experience, like internship experience previously. So I knew that was sort of not working. The internship or the other part was not useful for me. So I made sure I put in my PORs, or my project work which I have done, and put quality projects. So put the, and yeah, keep your resumes short and crisp, and get it reviewed from your peers or your seniors, those uh, you can get it reviewed from, because it helps you get a different perspective of your resume as well. So make sure you get it reviewed and keep it short. If you have a college template for a resume, it's good, or you can refer for other templates which are available also.
Okay. So that was regarding all the strategies and all. Now, if we talk about the internship experience, because as you have already completed your internship and like it would be virtually, so what are some of the tips, or like how your was your virtual interview internship experience?
Yeah, so it was not sure about, we had our virtual internship at that moment of time. So it was pretty much like you know uh, we
Surprise.
didn't. Yeah, surprise for us that it was a virtual internship. But yeah, it went pretty much smooth. talking about my experience with the virtual internship, there are a lot of pros and cons as well. So you get a lot of time to work on your project which you're assigned to. Because when you enter for internship, right, you might need to work on a different tech stack which you have not worked earlier. So you've when it's virtual, you have pretty much time to explore the tech stack that you need to work upon. So that is a pro. And cons may be like you don't get to be around different the co-interns and have these different sessions you might miss upon when you were on site for their internships. And also uh, uh, no yeah and pro can be like whenever you had a doubt, you can easily just put forth your doubt in like to the mentor maybe. Had it be the on-site interview, I would have to be meet in person and then discuss. So it is like pretty much quick here in a virtual platform, so that can be a pro as well.
Okay. Now, if we talk about some of the hurdles or challenges that you have faced during your internship.
Yeah, so first of all, internet connectivity. So some people might face that issue. So that is one. Second issue, like issues I didn't face any of, but yeah, you need to be good at your communication when you're doing an online internship or virtual internship, right? Because you need to be effectively communicating with your mentors as well as managers, and you need to report your progresses or your blockers, anything you have, in a better way. Like had it been on site, they would have a hold on it, but right now you are the one who have to start with initiate the communication process, maybe if you have any progress or a blocker maybe. So but apart from that, I didn't face any issues during my internship. It pretty much went very smooth.
Okay. And if we talk about some of the takeaways that you had from this internship.
Yeah, so first is communication is the key. Be good at your communication. Make sure you put your thoughts in a better way so that the other person may understand what thought process you're going through. And second, it is very important to document your work, right? Because after my work would be taken up by certain different interns maybe or different teams. So make sure you have a well documented code. Make sure you have good quality code as well. And yeah, have good communications with your managers and your mentors. And my takeaway would be communication is the key, and have you need to have very good documented code, have good quality code. So yeah, that would be
Okay. And if we talk about the most attractive aspect for this company, so what can we share in this?
so my like the best part I thought about would be the work life balance or the working culture of the company, because it was virtual, right? So I couldn't understand like the on-site how it would be. But even though it was virtual, the people were very much helpful when it came to any blockers I had. They were pretty much helping sort of to understand what the other things are going on. So that is pretty much work-life balance is also good because I was given. There was no time constraint for me to work as far as I provide the right work that was given to me. So apart from that, yeah, this is pretty much I liked about it. Like I can work anytime I can, as far as I deliver what was expected from me.
Okay. Now, the most important question is what can we do to convert the internship to a PPO?
Yeah. So first of all, when you get an internship, it's pretty much easy to convert into a PPO. All you need to do is, understand well the tech stack that you would be assigned to, have effective communications with your mentors and your managers, and have well, have provide a good quality of code, what is expected from their end, and show your curiosity to learn new things, and also make sure you do your work independently. Because what happens is in the first attempt, if you don't get things right, it's a natural tendency to ask for help. But what I would recommend and what I did was first do research at your end. So make sure whenever you find an error or a bug, make sure you do a complete research about it. And at the end, if you're not finding any solution, then you can go ahead and ask your mentor. So that shows that you have the capability to work independently, and you can be reliable. You are a reliable person when it comes to working individually. So make sure you do research at your end very well, and then go ahead for doubts, because people are always willing to help you, but make sure you help yourself first and then ask for help. Yeah.
Okay. Now, if we talk about some of the common mistakes that are done by the interns, like who are currently doing internship. So in this, what you can share?
Yeah, so this is like from my experience as well. You need to understand the domain of the company which you would be sitting for. So make sure you do a complete research of the project, of the company that would be coming. Have a thorough knowledge about which company are you applying. Why are you applying for that specific company? Because that is one of the most, go after question in the HR round. So make sure you have the why answer to the why part of the question, and make sure you work on your resumes very early. This is what, because this is what I did. I started working on my resume after I knew that okay, I have to sit for my internship, so now I have to start preparing for my resume. So that is what I did. So don't do that. Make sure you work on your resumes right from your second year, so that you know what points you have to work on, and where you stand right now and what things you need to do, that part. And also focus on your CGPA, because at the end it also helps you when it comes to internal shortlisting. Somewhere or the other, it will definitely give your edge over other students when it comes to internal shortlisting. So these 3 points I would, yeah, this is what mistake I did, and make sure you don't do that.
Okay. I will talk about some tips for upcoming interns, like if they are having internships, like maybe next month or next year. So what all tips we can give to them?
Okay, those who got selected, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. So make sure, yeah, pretty much I covered it. So uh, first of all, you need to have your internship, whether it be virtual or on-site. It's better if it's on-site. So if it's on-site, make sure you have better communication with your mentor manager. Even if it's online, you have to do that. And get well versed with the tech stack that they've provided. You have, go with the documentation that is for the tech stacks. So that is pretty much like I covered it previously also. So
Okay.
have, yeah.
Yes. And any final tips for juniors, like who are in first year or second years?
Yeah, so the freshers out there, the CGPA is in your hand. Make the most of it. Try to improve your CGPA. Also, recently I came, I went through a post on LinkedIn, which was pretty much self useful, and I would like to share that. It includes some of the components or matrix, maybe you can call it, which you should look into yourself for your overall development. So it was like the logical ability. So first of all, ask yourself, like if given a problem statement, can you come up with the best optimized solution for it? So this is first. Second would be your intuitions. Like if you're asked a problem statement, does your mind give you instant clues to solve that problem statement? This will obviously come after having a lot of practice. So make sure you do that and ask yourself these questions, like, do you immediately get clues for this problem statement? Third would be implementation part. So a lot of students face problem when it comes to implementation, because what happens is you can get the logic for doing it, but when it comes to implementation, you might not get it in a proper way. So make sure you implement the stuff that understanding the concepts is good, but implementing it in is better. So implement it. And fourth is effective communication. So you need to always make sure that whatever thinking you have is better effectively passed down to the different person, because that I have been facing these issues, because initially I wasn't good at communication, but over the period of time I knew how it helps a lot. Make sure you have good communication and express yourself very well. You need to have a good technical communication as well. So make sure you work on those skills. And also for juniors out there, get in touch with your seniors. You might get a lot of opportunities from them. Like I said, after first year you can do internships in startups, after second year as well. So yeah, have a lot of network a lot with your seniors. And work on your resumes as well. So that will help you stay motivated throughout the process as well. You need to add certain things on your resume, so I could work on it. that will help. And also, one thing I would like to mention is you have intra-college events or hackathons also. Like, so I made sure even if I didn't qualify many of the rounds, but make sure you attempt it. Like you at least participate in many hackathons or the intra-college events is those we have. So that helps a lot to, help us understand where we are standing at this moment. And then you can always work on your skills.
Okay. So those were many great tips that she has suggested. And that was all regarding the video. I hope you liked it. And if you have liked the video, you can press the like button. And if you have not yet subscribed, so also subscribe the channel. And we'll meet in another video. So till then, goodbye.